Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. And today we are back with another video on our Schumacher Retro series, with the first one being uploaded a couple of days ago at the Spa Belgium Grand Prix, driving the debut car of Michael, that was the Jordan 191. If you haven't seen that video, click on the link above to check that one out too. And for all those who are watching this video for the first time, let me give you a short background of what we are going to do today. So basically, this year's F1 2020 game was introduced with the Schumacher Deluxe Edition, featuring four of Michael Schumacher's most iconic cars. We featured his first ever Formula One car in our last video, and today we are going to drive the car which delivered Michael his first ever Drivers' World Championship, that is the Benetton B194. Now, before we start with the racing, let's just go through a brief history of how it was for Michael Schumacher in 1994.
One team and one driver ruled the roost in Formula One during the mid-1990s. The Benetton Ford B194 was, at times, unstoppable in 1994. It would take victory in 7 of the first 10 races to establish the foundation upon which the team was to taste its first World Drivers' Championship glory.
We will be racing the Benetton B194 across the Albert Park circuit in the Australian Grand Prix, and while doing so, I will also share some interesting facts about the 1994 Formula One season with all of you. As always, we will be racing with a bunch of other retro cars just to see how we fare with all of them, and we'll also try to fight for a good position in the race. Now, the reason why we are choosing this very GP is because this was the last race of that season, a title decider between Michael Schumacher and Damon Hill. So before we start the race, if you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and hit the red subscribe button to get access to all amazing F1 content coming your way. And here we are at the start of the Australian Grand Prix, and what do we have here? It's none other than Benjamin Daly aka Tiamat Marduk as one of our engineers and Mr. X Maddie G as our sneaky cameraman. Ben obviously discussing his plans for perfecting the corner cutting at this track, and Matt looks to be practicing how to record his next WTF Your Reactions video. So looks like this one's gonna be quite a lovely episode, as it is already, as we get ready for the start of the Australian Grand Prix. So here we are starting off at P20 this time around in the Benetton B194, as the 5 lights are about to go off here in Australia, and off we go, and we start off quite gingerly here as we lean in gently on the throttle while other cars are off towards turn 1, as we steady the car and get ready for a dive on the inside, and we somehow manage to pass 3 cars into turn 1, moving up into P16. But as soon as we turn in, the car suffers quite a wobble and we somehow manage to keep it in from spinning. The car seems to be quite handful in these early stages of the race. As we move forward, getting ready for turn 3, we apply the brakes, but the car just doesn't want to stop, and we completely shunt the back of McLaren Honda, sending it into another galaxy. But we move on as we are now up into P14. The B94 looks quite handy, I must say. Pace wise, it seems to be okay, but it's just lap 1 and the cars are quite bunched right now. So let's see how we do during the rest of the race. Now, as the race goes on, let's talk a little bit about the 1994 season. Now, this season can be termed tragic and controversial in equal parts. Let's start with the tragic part. This was the year which reintroduced refueling in F1. Ayrton Senna moved from McLaren to Williams, who were champion during the previous 2 seasons, was under tremendous pressure from Michael and rest of the pack. Michael capitalized on his refueling familiarity from his days as a Mercedes sports car driver and won the first 2 rounds while Senna couldn't perform in both the races. The third round at Imola saw Senna top the qualifying charts in his Williams, but the whole weekend was marred with horrific accidents, one after the other, resulting in tragedies the sport of Formula One is yet to recover from. First, Barrichello suffered heavy injury due to his crash during the practice session. Then, in Saturday qualifying, Roland Ratzenberger speared into the barriers at the Villeneuve King, dying instantly on track before he could be provided any medical attention. A shaken Senna visited the crash scene later on. On race day, Pedro Lemi's Lotus struck Leto's stalled Benetton on the starting grid, showering a spectator enclosure with debris and injuring 9 people. When the race restarted from behind the safety car, Senna crashed at Tamburello on lap 7, immediately resulting to his death on track. The F1 community was shaken to its core, while Brazil went into national mourning due to the loss of their revered hero. Even though it took the death of Senna and Ratzenberger that very fateful day at Imola, but it suddenly started the conversation about driver safety in the sport, which resulted into a slew of immediate and continuous measures being taken to ensure driver safety during race weekends, impact of which can be seen even today. We are currently going through lap 2, running in at P14 and trying to catch the cars in front of us. While we do so, let's talk about the controversial side of the 1994 season. After the death of Senna, The true contenders for the Drivers' Championship crown were Michael Schumacher and Damon Hill of Williams. Michael was extremely dominant during the first half of the season, racking up 7 wins in 10 races. But this is when the controversy came following. During the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, a bizarre occurrence took place during the formation lap. Damon was P1 and Michael P2, but while running in the formation lap, Michael overtook Damon not just once but twice while also ignoring black flags in the process. Now, during the race, he was leading it at one point but suffered gear issues midway and had to relinquish his lead to Damon. Later on, he was banned by the stewards for 2 races. But this meant he would miss his home Grand Prix in Germany, which led to massive backlash from the German supporters. So, surprisingly, he was allowed to race under appeal. Schumacher failed to win though after his engine failed while running second. It is doubtful he could have finished anyway, as his pit crew was unable to refuel him after a fire had injured 6 of them during the refueling of his teammate Josh Verstappen. Benetton were accused of causing the fire by removing a filter to accelerate the fuel flow rate, a charge which added to the earlier claims that they had illegal traction control system hidden on their car's electronics under an invisible option 13 created an impression in many minds that they were striving to win by dishonorable means. With Schumacher banned from the Portuguese and Italian Grand Prix, Hill fought off resurgent Ferraris to claim 2 vital wins and close to within 1 point of Michael. At Jerez, Schumacher was back to winning ways, but in the penultimate round in Suzuka, in the pouring rain, Hill beat him in a straight fight when Benetton made an unusual bad call on strategy. An intense media frenzy surrounded the showdown in Adelaide. Mansell took pole for the race, but Schumacher and Hill scampered ahead at the start, holding position through the first fuel stops. On lap 36, Michael slid off the circuit and thumped a wall, surely ruining his right rear suspension. As Hill moved to sweep past him at the following corner, Schumacher chopped across, running his wheel across the front right of Hill's car, nearly flipping his B194 into the air. Michael harpooned into a tire wall and was out on the spot. Hill limped to the pits, but a dented front suspension wishbone indicated that he too was finished and Michael Schumacher was world champion. And that was how Michael Schumacher won his first ever Drivers' World Championship. A lot of people still to this day feel that Damon Hill was robbed of his championship by the unceremonious actions of Michael, but that is how things happened in 1994. As we are now into the final lap of this Grand Prix, we tried to make places along the way, but it just didn't work out for us at all, with the AI cars being quite faster compared to the B194, and also we didn't help our cause with some mistakes along the line. But the whole point of this video is not to showcase the might of our driving ability, but rather to show you all the classic machinery that allowed the legend of the sport Michael Schumacher to win his first ever driver's crown. During the last few corners, we did end up climbing up to P12, but I still feel that's the maximum we will be able to achieve in today's race. So we are almost at the end of today's race as part of our Schumacher Retro series. Before I forget, I would like to thank all of you for your support and love on our last video. I really appreciate it, and also we are trying to reach 1000 subs before the end of this year, which I know you guys will definitely help me achieve. I also request all of you to share your thoughts in the comment section, what you felt about today's video and would like to see in similar retro cars content in future. I'm trying to upload different videos for all of you, as most of the similar content creators are quite active with the recently launched My Team Career mode on F1 2020, and it didn't make sense for me to do the same, as it only adds up to the repetition and saturation of content. Maybe we can take that up for next year's game when we grow a good number of followers to our channel. But till then, I'll try to come up with different topics which you usually wouldn't find out there on YouTube. Also, you guys can also let me know in the comment section what other video ideas you would want to see on my channel. As we go through these last few corners, it was yet again quite a memorable experience for me, and I hope it was for all of you watching me drive around this circuit, reliving the memories of that fateful 1994 Formula 1 season, as we come across on the start-finish straight one last time as Michael Schumacher in his Benetton B194.
Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers.
Thank you all for watching today's video. Be sure to like, share and subscribe to my channel. See you all in the next video. Till then, stay safe. Goodbye.